from a very narrow prism.
Yeah.
Then you would feel better within yourself and less angry. I had to caution somebody yesterday on the use of listening to radio 24/7 to various views. You shouldn't do that. Listen a little bit and go find, because it can affect you. I got a bit of that during COVID.
Yeah.
When of course we were at home, pounding. Okay, let's roll.
Let's roll.
We have to run the
Yes. Let's run
morning
it. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
You've waited so long, and now the doors are wide open for you to join MTN, the yellow family that's got the coverage and reliable data network in Nigeria. Just walk into select MTN stores nationwide, buy a new MTN SIM, and turn it up with mouth-watering airtime and data bonuses on the yellow network. So hurry up and get your SIM today. Visit mtnonline.com/SIM to locate the closest SIM sales stores near you. Everywhere you go, MTN.
You know that feeling when you keep downloading and streaming interesting videos, but your mind keeps whispering, continue, your pockets go here. But not anymore. When you subscribe to MTN's affordable and reliable monthly data bundles, you will enjoy 10 gigabyte with just 3,000 naira and 20 gigabyte for 5,000 naira only. Plus, a whopping 4 gigabyte free to stream YouTube videos on your reliable data network. Simply dial *131# to select and turn up your affordable data plan on MTN. Terms and conditions apply.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Dailies today on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
And we're back on Dailies today. We're going to start this show on the page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Police confused on mass trial order. Adeboye Kumuyi defy Twitter ban.
Yes. Just in fact, the intro we had this morning is to reflect this story that we're going to talk about. And I'd like you to listen carefully. Lower your prejudices a bit and then listen to reason. One, the Twitter ban ultimately is predicated on security. Not just Nigeria, other countries, including the United States, have been worried about the issue of Twitter, which of course is partly held responsible for the invasion of Capitol Hill. Because what is it? What it is that you have a lot of unidentifiable people, or people in multiples. Some people have 10, 20, 30 Twitter accounts, trying to shape public opinion. And there's been absolutely no control. In the case of WhatsApp, you have to go through a phone and you have to go through a number, so you can control things like that. And I suspect the same might be said of Instagram. But with Twitter, it's an open whatever. I suspect that, I'm not talking with any authority, but I suspect that the thought behind the government, over and above everything, is the issue of security, where every morning influential things keep coming out. A large number of them falls. Unfortunately, the government spinners, those who spin, now tied this to the deletion of the president's tweets, which I must say, heightened things and set it in a completely wrong way. But I suspect that all along, the government has a master plan on how to handle.
All along, I agree with you.
The security challenges that we have now. And if you look at this, and the security challenges are not just directed at Twitter. Even individuals suffer. Institutions suffer. When something happened the other day and people said, we should all go and close our accounts in Access Bank and so on and so forth. All over, in various areas, people suffer a lot from misinformation. So whilst I don't support in total the ban on Twitter, I support the regulation of the use of Twitter. And I don't know any adult that would say that he would support anything that disseminates information without control. Nobody does that. So what is likely to happen before we burn ourselves out? When you want to think of this issue, it's better you take your support or otherwise of Buhari out of the equation and look at it objectively. What is likely to happen, which has happened in other countries and is ongoing in the UK, in the US, is the government will sit down and negotiate with Twitter to say that, look, can we at least, at the very least, identify people who tweet and control what they tweet? That is a legitimate demand. You can't fault it. If you, even those who support, want to be safe in your own country, these things have to be done. Not just government. You see, people always think it's government. No, individuals have been victim of this until we had control of some sort of telephones here. People were getting all kinds of calls. So there must be control of the use of Twitter, and government will sit with Twitter, and I'm sure in the next 1 week or so, the issue will be resolved. I don't think we need to kill ourselves over this, to be very honest with you. Now, the paper says that Adeboye Kumuyi defied Twitter ban. Maybe the newspapers are playing around with words, but I don't think that Adeboye or Kumuyi would defy a government instruction. Some lawyers have said that it is unconstitutional. They're probably right. But this is the way it works for me. Rather than them saying that if you are arrested for this, so and so, by now we should have had lawyers challenging the law in the law courts and trying to get, at the very least, an injunction against it. So let's not walk ourselves up on these issues. They're complete distraction from what is in front of us. We have look at what happened in Igongon. We have very serious challenges ahead of us that have to be handled with a lot of tact. Let me also reiterate that for those who want to take hard lines on these things, I plead with them that the last thing you want, again, I'm going to appeal, is for, because you see, the moment we have, God forbid, any war in this country, it will not end in our lifetime. As the Israelis and the Palestinians, and they'll tell you what it's like to live your life through that kind of turmoil. Okay, so I'm going to plead with the hardliners, and please, yes, you can make your point. And look, this government is culpable in a number of ways in bringing all this about. I must admit that. But we have just less than 2 years left. Yeah. So why don't we start working on getting a new government in place, rather than burn our energies in trying to make a point and taking a hard line? So I'm sure that Pastor Adeboye and Kumuyi, by now they would have been advised by their own people to say that, look, even if the government brings an instruction or whatever it is, and you think it's unconstitutional, it's better to go resolve it in the law courts as civilized human beings.
What if they're not tweeting from Nigeria? What if they're tweeting
if they're not tweeting from Nigeria? They're not tweeting from Nigeria. I mean, you could travel.
Exactly. What if
you could travel? But I think the what the government also doesn't, because there's no point saying you have a Twitter ban and everybody now has access to VPN. You wouldn't have achieved much. And as far as the police confused, I don't think the police is going to arrest anybody really, except maybe some high-profile people. And the media will probably be their target, to make an example. The government has a problem, like all of us, as to what to do with security. Because what we have out there now is guerrilla warfare on information. Okay, so I hope I've been able to make our position known here on what it's all about. Yeah. But it's not peculiar to Nigeria. In the US, talks are going on. In the UK, definitely talks are going on. As to how to control the social media
in France,
in general.
Is there in Australia?
It's not peculiar to us. Yeah. But
I made that clear very early this morning. I was telling people that it's not new. But
we have to force the hand of these people. We have to force to negotiate with them. And I think that if there is control on Twitter, to be honest with you, all of us will be the beneficiaries of this. If there is definitely, if you bring some sanity and control, all of us will be the beneficiaries of this exercise.
Let's stay with the Punch newspaper from page 2 to page 7. Police suspend tinted car permit issuance, arrest 686 suspect. That's the story here.
Well, the way the headline is cast, you would have thought that the 686 suspects had tinted glass, but that's not what it is. There are two different stories put in one. But we've heard this before over and over again, where the police, again, it's all about, it's a security issue. And we've been shouting about this, tinted glasses, covered numbers, and so on and so forth. With the security situation that we have in this country, the police have little or no whatever option. But somebody is going to challenge whether it's the police that would do this or do that. They should please go to court. But in doing these things, in talking about unconstitutional or otherwise, we should also remember that when security issues are in the front burner, you can even suspend the Constitution and have a state of emergency. So let us remember that. Let us remember that the situation we are in affects everybody.
Very true.
And there is a minimum to which we can keep splitting hairs on things like this. Why would I want to bother my head? If the police says that we shouldn't have tinted whatever, if I bought my car tinted, I go get it removed. I don't have anything to hide. So we are facing a massive crisis. And so let's for God's sake by the time an armed robber comes to the house and breaks your door open, are you going to be asking him what constitutional right he has to break your door? Our backs are against the wall, security wise, and we should bear that in mind. All of us are affected. Look, now it's difficult for you to be caught in traffic in Lagos in daylight. 9 o'clock on Saturday morning, there were some robberies on Third Mainland Bridge because the vehicle broke down and the traffic backed up. Area boys came. The same thing I heard on Eko Bridge. The same thing I heard on Akpogbo. You know, so we are facing a massive security crisis, and whatever measures we can put in place that are within reason. Let us suspend our academic whatever, and let's just cooperate with the authorities. It's not a matter of whether it's Buhari's government or whatever. Some people, I heard somebody this morning who said that probably Buhari didn't know. He doesn't have Twitter, and I said to myself, what kind of a man is a major general in the army? He's been a president twice. You sit down there and think he doesn't know things that you know. I mean, come on, let's get real. The security is also like the reaction for those who said that, he cannot send troops to the east, he cannot. You need to look at the bottom line with every issue.
Right.
You need to look at the bottom line with every issue.
Is there a no-go area, though, in bringing sanity to the polity? Is there a line that can't be crossed even by the government themselves?
The line that can be crossed really is when you get to a point where it's affecting the rights of individuals massively. You need to. It's like I was once asked during the Boko Haram war that a lot of civilians are dying during bombardments, and I said, how does a plane in the air distinguish where soldiers when they've all mixed up? But people's rights have to be protected within reason. But there is no way you will make an omelette without breaking an egg. It's the reality of life. It's the reality of life.
So rights will be trampled upon in the process of trying.
Yes, some rights will be trampled upon if you want to bring sanity to a very bad situation. The situation is very bad. The government is to blame, though. They have been too lax all along. If you remember, we've been saying this over and over again. We've been too lax, and now we are paying dearly for it. Okay, it's like you have a child. Instead of you to bring him up, you spoil him, and then he becomes uncontrollable.
But what then happens when rights are being trampled upon?
You can fight for your rights, but you should do so legally.
When rights are being trampled upon, that means legal means are being thrown out the window. Why would somebody now seek redress legally?
Give me an example of what you mean. What you have in mind.
So I'm painting the picture in connection to the stuff that are coming out now. For instance, people are arguing that banning Twitter is denying me access to information. It's denying me access to communication.
This is it's like what also happens when you are told to stay at home during COVID. You are denied access to go to work. This is temporary. Like I said, you can't make an omelette without breaking an egg.
The government said yesterday that they don't even know when the ban will be lifted.
No. Listen, look, max 2 weeks. It will be lifted.
But you don't know. I don't know that.
No, it will be. The government itself is shooting itself in the foot. The government needs Twitter.
The government needs Twitter badly.
Yeah. So what it is really is it will be regulated. It will be regulated, and I believe within the next 2 weeks, reason will prevail. It's part of what is like saying that you don't want to do surgery on a person because you don't want any knife mark on his body. That's the way it is. It is something, I believe it is something, okay, we're already there anyway, so let's just wait through it. Within a week or two, we'll be back, but it will be regulated.
See, I actually am trying not to ask you what you mean by regulation, because that again
No,
could
regulation
mean
simply means
that
let me explain.
it could simply mean censorship.
No, it's not censorship, Sheriff. Don't let's fall into that trap. What it simply means is that everybody who makes an untoward statement, there's the laws of sedition and whatever, then you can grab him.
Who determines when
The
a
law
statement?
courts.
No, I mean, grabbing somebody, for instance. I mean, journalists have already been grabbed in some states.
Yeah.
Some are still being kept away now. We don't know where they are.
No.
because of
When
what
I
they
said
put out.
no, okay, let me withdraw the word grab.
Yeah.
I was using street language. What I mean is you need to let people be held responsible for what they say. For crying out loud, Sheriff, we have access to a microphone. You don't come out here and say whatever pleases you.
Anything.
Do you know what's going on in my mind?
Right.
You don't. You must be regulated. I'm not into that sentiment that talks about freedom. No freedom is absolute. Excuse me. No, freedom is absolute.
That's true.
If I want to ease myself, can I go and ease myself at the reception? There's a toilet. So no freedom. And if I do that, so no freedom is completely absolute. It's important that people, especially professionals, know that there is a limit to which, in all cases, you can say to freedom should be absolute.
Right.
No freedom is absolute. If they say this place is in and out, are you going to say you have the freedom to go in through out and come out through in? Life must be regulated. Part of what has led us to the crisis that we are in today is that since we've started this democracy, even the players don't understand what democracy is all about. So what do? You bribe the people. Okay, it's like spoiling a child. What do? You bribe the people. You turn the other way when they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing, because you know within yourself, you're looking at the reactions.
I'm trying to check out.
Because you know within yourself that you too haven't met your obligation to the people. Therefore, it's like a man who hasn't paid his children's school fees and now says his child is not intelligent.
Let's move on quickly and see if we can touch on headlines from the Vanguard. We've not gone to Vanguard today. Page 6 of the Vanguard says, "A Papa Gridlock, how we uncovered 30 extortion points." MPA.
Well, it talks about MPA and it also talks about the reaction of the governor, and the governor says heads must roll and so on and so forth. Look, the governor has an attorney general. And what they need to do is to hold certain people responsible. This is part of what we are saying.
Right.
This is part of what we are saying. Some people expressing their own freedom is causing mayhem for the rest and it's difficult now for you to want to prosecute them. The governor should move in. He's the chief executive of the state. Get his attorney general, his commissioner of police, and charge these people who have held us to ransom with economic sabotage.
30 points.
Yes.
30.
Yes. Then you say we will name and shame. No, don't do that. You see, this is what we also say about freedom and these things. We must have a regulated society. We must have.
Let's move on. Let's stay with the Vanguard. Page 14. This story here says, TB Joshua, how I found my husband dead. It's according to the widow.
The death of that man is unfortunate. My personal opinion of him notwithstanding, that was a great man in the religious, in the Christian fold. Whatever you might think, about him, it was a bit unorthodox, but hey, it's part of what we are saying: freedom. But the message I got from all this, because I sat back when it happened, and another gentleman in Port Harcourt, and then tied it in with what happened to Adeboye. And this is the message that I got, and now I'm going real deep personal. That is God not saying to us, I am God, not the people that you tend to want to worship. So it shows that man of God or non-man of God, all of us are beings subject to God's decisions. Okay, so so what it does for me in my mind is that it tells me that we probably need to de-emphasize relying on man, okay, rather than on God. And I'm talking in parables now. I'm talking of hero worshipping. There's some people who have worshipped these people inadvertently. God forbid that at a time of trouble, you probably would be thinking such. And it's a way of, I think it's a way in which God shows you that ultimately I'm the one you need to have a relationship with. I don't know. I'm finding it very difficult, so I don't touch on people's
I totally get what you
feelings, yes.
the position you are in now.
that's
I don't
what it is.
envy you at all.
Yes, may their souls rest in peace. But at the end of the day, like I said, what is most important for all of us is that God is God. Nobody can take his place. And these people that have been given responsibility by him are human like the rest of us. This man died in his sleep at 57. You understand what I'm saying?
That's
he died
right.
in his sleep at 57.
Just few days to his
A few days to his
58th
birthday.
birthday.
Yes. And so this tells you a lot. When things like this happen, it's always good that we sit back, to think about what this is all about. And he's done his part.
That's right.
You can't take that away. A lot of things have been said about him. You don't know if some of them are true. That's part of the problem we have. Somebody yesterday started circulating one very nasty video about him. And I said, again, here we go again. At a time when we are mourning this man, you now want to release this. But heaven help us all. Like Yorubas will say, God knows those who worship him.
That's right.
Do you know what Yoruba says in that?
That's an Islamic saying.
It is Islamic.
Yeah. I'm
didn't hear it in
sorry to
Arabic.
burst your bubble, but it's
Don't
okay.
bust my bubble. I heard it. I heard it in Yoruba. I didn't hear it in Arabic. You bust my bubble. I'm very upset. I'm very angry. If that is hate speech.
All right, that's very funny. Let's go to page 8 of the Vanguard
Excuse me.
newspaper. Sorry. June 12, IGP reads riot act to zonal AIGs, commands CPs.
This is not a time to be a policeman. I can tell you. This is not a time to be in charge of security in Nigeria. So many challenges. June 12 is around the corner. Some people want to use the opportunity to demonstrate, to make their feelings known. It's within their rights to do so. But my advice, especially to the younger ones, is why don't we pass our energies on to looking for a new leader in 2023 so we are not caught pants down. We know what a lot of us feel about this government. I'm not happy with this government in any manner. Somebody said I'm a Buhari supporter. They don't know that I'm a Jimi Disu supporter. I keep looking at myself, my immediate family, my listeners, my fans, my friends, and so on. How can I keep them safe? Because at the end of the day, let me tell you, point blank, at the end of the day, okay, so what do you want to achieve? You want to remove the man? You cannot. It's not going to happen until 2023. It's not going to happen. Either constitutionally or unconstitutionally, it's not going to happen. Manage him. Rather, put your energies in, let's now identify one or two people and encourage them to come and take on the reins of this country. This country needs salvation. We are sick. As a country, we are sick. We get angry with those who called us a failed state, but I'd like somebody to tell me what the definition of a failed state is. We are very close to that. And rather than think about one man, burn all our energies about Buhari or otherwise, let's think of ourselves. Let's think of the future. Let's think of our children.
Start
born
planning.
and unborn.
Start building.
And start planning and start building. Let's salvage this country, not salvage a government. Let's salvage this country. And you can do a lot of things outside government to help the country grow. So let's get it right. The current set of politicians, let's try and make sure that most of them are sent into the cooler. And we have a new generation of politicians in 2020. It's a tall order. Let's start from somewhere.
Yes, it is. It is.
It's not going to be an event. It's going to be a marathon. But we are all headed in the wrong direction. We are thinking about how we can contribute to removing a man who will not and cannot be removed. And because we don't have that much time, let's start planning against 2020. That's what democracy is all about. Let's start planning against 2023 and not be caught pants down. At the last minute, we now find ourselves between a rock and a hard place. That's my advice. I'd like those who want to demonstrate. We've had enough of this. There've been too many security breaches that we've had, and plus COVID. So That's it. You want me to move forward? Okay.
I want to face the camera.
I thought it was admiring my agility.
No, what?
Because of you, I stopped wearing t-shirts.
Is this one that is easy to amend?
No,
I can easily call this one.
You have to. Okay, you can actually cut it. To slim fit. If
Sharp.
your belly cannot feel this.
My tummy.
This pregnancy, yeah, you cannot feel.
Good. We must go now. What's coming up at 9?
Kenneth Okolubo of the PDP.
Okay.
Yes, I want to take our minds away from this.
Kenny is coming. Oh,
it's coming.
nice.
Let's even see what's going on. These are the two major parties we have.
Yeah.
So let's even, as far as the PDP in Lagos is virtually moribund. So let's see a top player in the PDP. Let's see what their minds are thinking.
Nice.
Please out there, take your minds off. Let's all try and make this country a better place to live in. Okay?
Jimmy, thank you so much for coming around.
All right.
Thank you, MTN, for the support. I'm Sheriff Quadry. Jimmy is back at 9 on Daily Digest. Good morning to you.
You've waited so long, and now the doors are wide open for you to join MTN.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.